Young ladies and gentlemen, good day to each and every one of you. You are welcome here on your very beloved platform, The Awakening of Consciousness Tribune. So, this is part of the international news. It's over. We have Ukrainian soldiers, as you can see in the images, who have decided to stop listening. Volodymyr Zelensky, who have decided to make the choice of their lives because they love their lives. They have decided to surrender, and they are surrendering en masse. This has been happening for 3 days. 4 days, I was going to say. For 4 days. These images you see there, they are images broadcasted in videos that I captured, which have gone viral. They have gone viral. But the Westerners are not talking about it. Because this is contrary to what Zelensky is saying, what everyone else is saying in the various media. It's the opposite. They are not talking about it. Everyone is focused on the response that Russia will give. Since Putin's ultimatum was today, Monday, March 17th, 2025, starting at 8:30 a.m. If they not surrender, they will face devastating consequences. So, this crowd, with hands up, hands raised, surrendering to the Russian authorities, is it mainly composed of Ukrainian soldiers or NATO soldiers? Here is a big question that arises. Since the current concern of the Americans, the French, and Europe as a whole is how to protect the more than 30 officers of NATO who have not yet surrendered. It is for these officers that Macron is very agitated, Macron is under pressure, that Donald Trump is also under a lot of pressure. Russia has one of their cards in hand, a very strong and powerful card, because Russia has managed to defeat them on its territory. Please share this video conference with me. Share it as much as possible, give it a lot of likes. Yes, share it in all the groups, please. On WhatsApp, on Telegram, everywhere. The situation in Kursk. We understand that President Vladimir Putin wanted to give it time. Now we understand. He wanted to give it time for those people to be there. Already they are in his house. It's like when a thief enters your house. You see him, you saw him on the surveillance camera. You know what type of weapon he has where he rests in your house, in your yard. You keep them there, waiting for the right moment. And this crucial moment is the moment when we will say it's time to negotiate. Because to negotiate, you need to have a position of strength. So Russia waited. They were there on the territory talking, right? They took over such locality, Russia said nothing. The most important thing, when they came into the localities, they spared lives. They came, they settled, they set up their administration. There you go, they are there. And during this time, Russia pretended to nibble away at some territories around where they were settled. But it was a misunderstanding. Russia, the strategy of Russia. As soon as Russia learned that there was an agreement, a ceasefire agreement, automatically, Russia pressed the pound key on the accelerator in less than 24 hours. They were completely surrounded. If at first they were surrounded, but with some escape routes, they were completely surrounded. Completely. And then it doesn't stop at the fact that they were surrounded. That is to say, they are surrounded. It's the scorched earth technique that was used by, but one of the African emperors, Al-Mamis Amuri Touré. The scorched earth technique. They surround you and then they charge at you. You close in on yourself and you no longer know what to do. It's somewhat like the technique of the buffalo horns used by Shaka Zulu in Zululand, in KwaZulu-Natal. Yes, This technique is similar to the one that Russia implemented in the Kursk region. So, they have been surrendering en masse for 4 days. And they continue to do so. It must be said that there were thousands of them there. But in the meantime, Volodymyr Zelensky is on the media. Zelensky says that they are not surrounded. There is therefore no reason to think to give an order for them to surrender. And these soldiers who understood that the comedian Zelensky, meaning their life there, is the same as the life of the comedian Zelensky, they realized that the comedian Zelensky still hasn't understood anything. They prefer their own lives. So they decided to betray Volodymyr Zelensky. The truth is that it's not an order they received to surrender. Even if it said that the army is about discipline, it's about submission. They didn't receive an order because Volodymyr Zelensky continues to hold his position. He said that America must put pressure on Putin, and America should not take into account what Putin says there, because Putin is someone who is putting on a show, because Putin simply wants to exert political pressure. He wants to apply political pressure. So in this case, he is still focused. Zelensky is still focused on that. Meanwhile, what is happening? So, in the meantime, on the ground, Yoromani, as we would say in Malinke, Yoromani. So they decided to surrender. Now, what is the whole issue? They are in the process of surrendering. But NATO officers cannot surrender. If it's not on official orders, if they surrender, it will permanently tarnish NATO's name. It will be recorded in the annals of history that NATO invaded Russia, but they were defeated. This organization, which claimed to be a great force, a great power, failed at Kursk. A lamentable and very bitter failure. So, they do not want this shame to be cast upon them. They do not want it at all. That's why they are stalling. But Donald Trump, having seen the situation, took the bull by the horns. He asked forgiveness from Vladimir Putin. He says that lives must be spared, otherwise it will be a legendary catastrophe that the entire world will never forget. The entire world will not forget, as there are many NATO officers who are in Kursk, and there are several nationalities, several countries represented there. So, ladies and gentlemen, here is the headline of the news. But we will continue to follow everything that will unfold. We will return to analyze here on the platform the awakenings of consciences. Thank you all. I will be back shortly with new updates. This was the voice of your one and only samurai.